Thank you all very much for turning out today for this historic occasion. My name is John Nations, and it's my great privilege to be the President and Chief Executive Officer of Bi-State Development and have the opportunity and the pleasure of welcoming all of you here this afternoon for what is certainly a momentous occasion for Bi-State Development, for the Cortex District, for the city of St. Louis, and frankly, for our entire region. It is really a more pleasure than I can tell you to have the opportunity to be here and to celebrate the groundbreaking for the new station here at Cortex. To be able to serve the Cortex Innovation Community, and more importantly the community at large, is our greatest mission with our Metro Transit Division, and to have the opportunity to add a critical asset to our system to serve Cortex and the region is very important. Now I will tell you that there will be a lot of talk and a lot written about this station and a lot about the numbers and how many people and concrete and steel. But this station, this project, this partnership is about a lot more than just a station and what's to be constructed here. What you're seeing today is something we want to see more of in St. Louis. It's about getting the best of St. Louis to do the best for St. Louis, to build the partnerships that it takes to build our communities, to partner with the tremendous people who are here behind me and who I will be introducing shortly, who are such great leaders, such great partners to advance our company, to advance transportation, to advance our great city, and to advance our region. So on behalf of our entire team at Bi-State, I want to say thank you to all the leaders who are here, to the many who are not, to the partners throughout the region who make this day possible. This is a classic example and the best example of what happens when the best of St. Louis gets together to accomplish a worthy objective. This is, as you have probably already learned, a unique situation for our transit company and frankly a very rare occurrence around the country. What you're seeing here with the station at Cortex is an invaluable public-private partnership where for the first time we're getting private funding to invest in the public transportation system in a public asset. And as we like to say at Bi-State, we're going to use the investment to improve our system and therefore improve an area and a neighborhood, and at the very same time then use the benefit of that neighborhood to come back and improve our system. This is what happens when you create the partnerships. These are the things that are possible. I will tell you that on behalf of my entire team, it's a great privilege for us to be a part of the partnership, and I'm delighted to have the opportunity to peer with the leaders behind me. And so without further ado, we're going to get straight to our speakers. I know we have a schedule. At Metro, as you all know, we like to stay on time. And we are going to stay on time today. I'm not sure what it means when the only remarks I get applause for are when I say we're going to stay on time, but nevertheless. It is something to have the opportunity and the pleasure, and see, we even have the whistle behind us. What could be better than this? To introduce a woman who really needs no introduction, certainly in the city of St. Louis or anywhere throughout our region. I've had the great pleasure to work with her for many years. And ladies and gentlemen, it's certainly a great privilege and a great pleasure to welcome our new mayor, ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Lyda Krewson.
Good afternoon. This is a really momentous occasion, I think, for our city and certainly for this region. You know, I've been the mayor for 51 days today, and so I get invited to a lot of different events where people ask me, what can we do to grow as a city and to grow as a region? The truth is there are a lot of answers to that question, but transportation is a big piece that sometimes we forget about. When I think about growth, I think about how we can find and attract dynamic, civic-minded young professionals who are going to come here to our city of St. Louis for a visit, for a job interview, for vacation, and fall in love with our city. Young people want to live and work in safe, fun, walkable communities. Employers want the same thing. They want to make their homes in thriving areas where their employees have easy access for in and out. And part of the way that we can deliver what employers and young people and employees want is to provide safe, efficient, well-run public transportation. this metro station, this new metro station, is certainly part of that equation. It's our job as elected officials to deliver services. Anytime we can make it easier for people to get to work, to go to the grocery store, go to a doctor's appointment, get to school, anytime we can make that easier, we're doing our part to help the city grow. This metro station will provide, of course, much easier access to Cortex, Washington University, and BJC, three institutions who play an invaluable role in attracting young people to our city. I want to take just a minute and thank the next speaker, Alderman Joe Roddy, who has done so much for this ward and certainly for the entire Cortex area. You know, today, this looks easy, doesn't it? We're all here, it's a beautiful day, we're under the shade, the train's going by, but this is not easy. This has been in the works for many, many years, and it takes a commitment from elected officials and from our public agencies to make something like this happen. So I just want to give, you'll get the chance in a minute, but I want to give a shout out to Alderman Joe Roddy, who's the 17th Ward Alderman and has been the Alderman for a long time. He has a vision, and I bet he's going to tell you about that. You see some of it here today that's already come to fruition. He has truly been a difference maker in helping our city to grow, and particularly in helping this area to grow. So thank you so much for having me here today. It's a great day to be able to celebrate something new here in the city of St. Louis. Thank you.
Frankly, I don't think I could improve on that introduction for Alderman Joe Roddy. I will tell you that when I came into this position a few years ago, one of the first people I heard from was Alderman Joe Roddy, who was so excited and wanted to talk about the endless possibilities in his ward and in the Cortex District in particular. And now to see these projects come to fruition and be able to have the opportunity to represent a great servant for the people of St. Louis, and certainly one of our great partners at Bi-State Development. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Alderman Joe Roddy.
Thank you, John. Madam Mayor, what a wonderful day and exciting time for our region and for our neighborhoods around us. This is so exciting on so many different levels. The notion that we can go ahead and take about a $10 million public investment and convert that and leverage it about 100 times or more is what's going to happen today. That's what this represents. This is a transformative event that is occurring here. The mere anticipation of this metro stop opening has resulted in development rippling in every direction from here. To the north, much of the construction of the West End was in anticipation of opening. To the south, the activity in the Grove. And to the east, we now have Federal Mogul and the Armory before us. So it really has been a transformative event by having this happen today. And the investment from the private sector as a result of this will, before we're all done, will far exceed $1 billion. So for that $10 million public investment, I wish everything we did in the public could be leveraged as much. I think it's a real demonstration of when you take the unique characteristics of our city and you apply the combined impact of zoning, economic incentives, and transportation planning, what can be done. The collection of those things can redefine the value in our proposition for getting businesses and residents to come back to the city, and it's that unique combination of all those factors that played into the what is going on down here today. John, what you're doing by making this investment and permitting us to stop the train is really transformative. The notion of creating a less car-dependent living for another mile or so of St. Louis is going to change the lives of hundreds, if not thousands, of our residents. And of course, they're going to be coming here doing research and inventing things that will make the world a better place. So this has just been a very, very important step in our development as a city. Combining zoning, economic incentives, transportation planning all around our unique assets, which in this case, of course, are our medical centers, is not easy, and it certainly isn't fast. Certainly the people at Cortex staff can give you a much better idea of what's happened to really kind of get us across the finish line. Dennis Lauer and our speaker soon here, Hank Weber, who will be telling us what they did to actually get us across the finish line. But I just thought I'd give you a snippet that my odyssey in this journey started over 16 years ago. Pat Bannister, who was with SLDC, had been working on trying to seduce the St. Louis Technology Center to move from Warson and Olive back into the city. Eventually that happened by the late 90s, and that became the Center for Emerging Technologies. Its first executive director, Marcia Mellitz, was concerned because it filled up quickly and they were running out of space, and she was afraid that some of the new companies would leave, and she wanted to go ahead and begin thinking about breakout space for them. As we were driving around and thinking about it, we thought, well, wow, if we had this kind of tired industrial warehouse district and we could drop a MetroLink stop in the middle of it, boy, oh boy, it could be transformative. Except for we had a couple problems. We had to figure out a way to buy all the land and all kinds of other things, and the city didn't have any money. So we thought, well, maybe we need to get people thinking aspirationally, and we came up with a little bit of money through block grant, and I hired a guy by the name of John Roach to do the first study. I think John's here somewhere, I heard. Is John? Where's John at? Longtime civic leader here in St. Louis, a former alderman, former CDA, partner at Pantheon, transit consultant, somebody who loves the city and has been active for a while, for many years in it. John did the first study, and we kind of kept it a little private. We were trying to figure out how to raise money from it, and we didn't really do a very good job. So we finally decided to go public with the idea, and that was in the late 90s. And we believe it or not, got Bill Peck, who was the dean of the WashU Medical School, to contribute money, Father Biondi from St. Louis U. We had even the Archdiocese gave us money, some of the neighborhood associations. I came up with some money from block grant. We had a new alderwoman at the time who represented the area to the north, and she came up with a few from her block grant allocation, and we produced a study. No, this isn't my speech today, but this was the first study, and it was completed in 2003, and it's the first time that we actually showed the stop in a public forum on a map. And it just so happens we completed that study at about the time that Bill Danforth had retired from WashU and was interested in making St. Louis the plant and life science capital of the Midwest. And as only Bill Danforth and John Dubinsky could do, they went out and in short order raised about $30 million to give us the site assemblage money down here. And probably the single act of civic leadership, greatest single act of civic leadership that I've personally witnessed. And it was a remarkable feat. And the rest, I guess they say, is history. We eventually got a professional staff over there, people like Mike Sullivan and Dennis Lauer, and they figured out something that we couldn't figure out how to do. We kept talking about it. It was how to stop the train. And through their hard work and the help of people like Senator Claire McCaskill and Citizens for Modern Transit and a whole bunch of other people, which I hope Hank will get around to mentioning a few of them, I'm sure, tonight, all of this came to pass, and it's been one of the most exciting and interesting things that I've been involved in since I've held elected office, and I want to thank everyone who's participated in it. It's going to be huge for our area, for the neighborhoods around it. Thank you so much. Thank you, John.
Alderman, thanks so much for your leadership. You know, when I think about the Cortex District, I think of the often quoted line from the poet George Bernard Shaw, who said, "People see things as they are, and they say, why? I dream of things that never were, and I say, why not?" When Cortex came into being, they had the courage to dream great things for this region and for our city, and they are transforming our area, and it is really a great pleasure to introduce, on behalf of the Cortex District, the chairman of their board, Hank Weber. Thank you.
Thank you, John. On behalf of all of us at Cortex, today's a great day. I'd like to thank Citizens for Modern Transit, the City of St. Louis, thank you, Mayor Krewson, thank you, Alderman Roddy, the State of Missouri, and most importantly, the Federal Transportation Agency and Metro, who've been our partner throughout this. Thank you, John. It shows what a team can do. Cortex is about the future. It's about new technology in the biotech, information technology, and advanced manufacturing areas. And it's about new firms. And most importantly, it's about well over 4,000 new jobs for the city of St. Louis. And there's a lot more to come. That crane represents a 180,000 square foot building whose lead tenant will be Microsoft. There's a little bit of space left, but act quickly. Dennis Lauer's right over there. The people who work in this district and will work in this district, our goal is to have 13,000 employees in 10 years. And the 330 companies that are located here want public transportation. They tell us that every day. They will ride it and they will use it. And they want to live in a city and in a region that has a vibrant public transportation system. Public transportation is a reality, and public transportation is a symbol of a commitment to do things in a different way. And they will take the GRG trail to work, and they'll take Walk for It, and it will be a part of their experience. This is about connections. It's about connections between large institutions and small firms, and it's about how a region goes from being pockets of great strength to a great whole. Thank you very much.
Next, it's my pleasure to introduce the Executive Director of the Great Rivers Greenway District. I will tell you that Susan Troutman is a woman who is transforming our region with her work and her passion. There is not a person in our region who does not benefit from her indefatigable devotion to improve the parks, the trails, and the greenways. Everything from the arch to the trail system and everything else. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce the Executive Director of Great Rivers Greenway, Susan Troutman.
Good afternoon. I gotta echo, it is a great day, and we at Great Rivers Greenway are extremely proud to be a part of this collective vision. Another example of what can happen with great public-private partnerships. This is a first for Metro and Great Rivers Greenway, as this station will have an integrated trail, and so you'll actually be able to commute or explore by rail, by bike, by foot. And I think that's the way it should be here in St. Louis. So we've got a big vision, and this is the beginning for us of a long vision for Chouteau Greenway. Today marks the first piece of trail. And for those of you that know us well, we're not into building trail segments. We're into a large vision of connecting our communities. And the greenways are about developing common ground to strengthen relationships, bridge communities, create places that attract and retain talent, and to connect all of the neighborhoods in our region so that we get to know each other better, but we also live outside and improve our quality of life. So we're pretty excited. In the next few months, we will start a unique design competition with many of the partners here and others to connect from WashU, Forest Park, BJC, Cortex, St. Louis University, Grand Center, Harris Stowe, and the downtown business districts all the way to the Arch. So it's a big day in many ways because the transit and the trail system coming together is really important for all of us in this region, and we are very happy to be a part of it, and this is just a great example of what can happen and what makes St. Louis great when we work together. Thank you.
one of the great civic partners, not just for this project, but for so many things that happen in the city of St. Louis and frankly throughout our region and throughout our state is BJC. And I'm delighted to welcome a good friend, the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Communications for BJC, June Fowler.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, John, for that nice welcome. At BJC Healthcare, we talk a lot about our vision of making medicine better. Well, our other vision is all about making our community better. And as you can see, right there, we've got over 1,000 of our employees, many of whom we relocated from other parts of the region to the city of St. Louis. That's why this station was so important to us. This is a collaborative effort that's leading to this groundbreaking today. It always seems like it happened overnight, but it was really interesting when the alderman said, you know, the study was done in 2003. So this is the fastest overnight project we've ever seen take fruition over 14 years. And I'm saying that very much with tongue in cheek. But what's happening today is the results of lots of heavy lifting by the organizations, agencies, and elected officials who are represented on the dais, and by many of you who are represented out there. Thank you to the state elected officials, the federal elected officials that allowed this to happen, to agencies like the NAACP and Citizen for Modern Transit, those advocacy organizations that, you know, help to push when pushing needs to be done. We all know that public transit plays a critical role in helping to connect citizens to good paying jobs. And jobs really are a part of the equation that will help address many of the issues that we're facing in this community. So on behalf of BJC Healthcare, thank you all so much for being here, and we appreciate being a partner in this effort.
And another great partner is here with us, Washington University. You know, it'd be difficult to imagine what St. Louis would be like without Washington University, who does so much for all of us. And they're a great partner in this project. They're a great partner in so many things that not only we do, but so many things happen around the region. And it's really a pleasure to welcome their Vice Chancellor of Operations and Technology Transfer, Dedrick Carter. Vice Chancellor.
Good afternoon. So I'm really pleased to be here today, and we've heard a lot of comments about how special a day this is. Just a couple days ago, we hosted the U.S. National Science Foundation director here in this building. And on her way out, she looked around and said, wow, this is the first time I've been to St. Louis in a while. We talked about the story arc from 2006 to now. And she said, you know, what's happening here? And my response is a response I've had for the last few years since I arrived in St. Louis. And that answer is something special. So I'm pleased to be here today as a part of this very important event, which will enhance our community's public transit system. And will add a much-needed light rail station to the Cortex Innovation District. Washington University has been an historic and strong supporter of public transit. In 2004, the university started its UPass program. I actually picked mine up earlier today, which provides members of our community with passes for Metro buses and MetroLink. That program is a part of my office and a key component of our alternative transportation strategy at the university. In fact, Washington University is the largest single user of the system, and we consider public transit to be an essential part of our region's transportation ecosystem. We're happily anticipating the addition of a new station at Cortex. In 2014, many area stakeholders started to come together to help to sort of make this happen, and Alderman Roddy talked about the long haul to get to this place. But it's great to see citizens from Martin Transit, others who work to raise matching funds to make sure this station could be a reality. This station will be the first addition to the MetroLink since the opening of the cross-county alignment in 2006. Key, when I talked about the Innovate St. Louis component beginning in 2006 as well, with the U.S. Council on Competitiveness. This new stop will be catalytic for our community. The Cortex station will seamlessly connect the university's Danforth campus to the medical center and to the Cortex Innovation District. This station sits at the nexus of St. Louis's premier educational and healthcare institutions and will connect not only students, not only faculty and entrepreneurs, but also our diverse and vibrant neighborhoods. I grew up in a small town in the South, and my great aunt was a quilter. And in quilting, you think about bringing together patches, distinct, interesting pieces that can be pulled together to form a story, and those things that join the patches are the stitches. The act of putting those stitches together is stitching, and I'd actually offer that the station is an important stitch in the fabric of the story arc that we're creating for St. Louis. Innovation thrives on nurturing and sustaining connections, and communities do so as well. We are at our best when we work side by side, when we share ideas, when we commit to the process of trial and error, and most importantly, when we stay personally connected to each other. The Cortex Station will be an integral link in building these new connections, and Washington University is unbelievably proud to be a part of this historic day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dedrick, and thank all of you for your partnership to make this day possible. Thank you for being here. We look forward to a lot more days like today. I would like to take the opportunity to introduce some special guests who are in the audience who are also supporters. We thought about having 35 speakers today, but in the interest of time, we decided that we wouldn't do it. Nevertheless, we're very fortunate to have very strong partners throughout the region, many of whom have turned out today for this great occasion. And you may have noticed that I was sitting up here writing names down because as I see people who've showed up, I certainly want to recognize them. Adolphus Pruitt, who is president of the NAACP. Adolphus, where are you? There he is, right there. Good to see you, sir. Senator Jamila Nasheed, right here in the front row. State Representative Peter Meredith. Peter, where are you? Back there. State Representative Bruce Franks Jr. Bruce? State Representative Joshua Peters. State Representative Donna Behringer. There you go. Hi, Donna. Alderman Scott Ogilvie. Where's Scott? Alderman Brandon Bosley. Alderman Dan Gunther. And St. Louis County Councilwoman Colleen Wassinger is here today. Colleen, where are you? I'd also like to take this opportunity to recognize some very important partners. On behalf of Missouri Governor Eric Greitens, Nick Maddox is here. Nick, in the back. On behalf of Citizens for Modern Transit, Kim Sella. From Congressman Lacey Clay's office, Steve Engelhardt. From Congresswoman Ann Wagner's office, J.C. Winship. There you are. Representing Senator Claire McCaskill, Brendan Fahey. The Executive Director of East West Gateway Council of Governments, Jim Wild. I know he was here, I saw him. I'd also like to recognize the Missouri Department of Transportation. They're represented by their area engineer, Michelle Vogel. Michelle? And of course, I'd like to recognize our tremendous team at Metro Transit, led by the Executive Director of Metro Transit, Ray Frame. Ray, raise your hand. Our partners at IKEA, represented here to the east. First of all, thank you for allowing us to operate the shuttles from your parking lot today. We appreciate it. Is there somebody from IKEA here? Over here. There we go. Thank you, guys. Wexford Science and Technology. There we go. And the St. Louis Development Corporation all contributed to this project. Where's Otis Williams? I saw him earlier. There he is. I'd also like to recognize the HNTB project team, which included KAI, Access Engineering, Glasper Professional Service, TSI Geotech, and Cavindio Engineering Services. Would you all please raise your hands? Part of the design team. Thank you all very much. And now for the moment that you've really all been waiting for. We're going to move off the stage, down to this box of dirt, and symbolically doing a groundbreaking. But for all of us, for everybody on the stage, for everybody who's worked on this project, thank for your partnership, and thanks for being here today. Thank you so much.